Today we are going to be learning about the poem Nine Gold Medals written by David Roth. I will read over stanza first and then I will tell you the meaning of it. The athletes had come from all over the country to run for the gold, for the silver and bronze. Many weeks and months of training, all coming down to these games. So many athletes had come from all over the country to participate for gold, silver, and bronze. They had spent many weeks and months in training so that they could participate in these games. It is a very simple poem written in very simple English, not very difficult to understand. The spectators gathered around the old field to cheer on all the young women and men. The final event of the day was approaching. Excitement grew high to begin. Spectators, meaning the people who come to watch, they had all gathered around the field to cheer on all the young women and men, that is, the participants. The final event of that day was approaching, was about to begin, and there was great excitement among the people. The blocks were all lined up for those who would use them. The 100-yard dash and the race to be run. These were 9 resolved athletes in back of the starting line, poised for the sound of the gun. The blocks that runners use before starting a race, they push the block with their leg and they start the race. If you have seen any marathons, you will know. They were all lined up for the athletes so that they would use them. What was the event that they were participating in? It was a 100-yard dash. And how many people? 9 resolved athletes in the back of the starting line. They poised for the sound of the gun, meaning that they got themselves ready for the sound of the gun. As soon as they would hear the sound of the gun, they would run. The signal was given, the pistol exploded, and so did the runners, all charging ahead. But the smallest among them, he stumbled and staggered and fell to the asphalt instead. The gun was fired, the signal was given, the pistol exploded, meaning the gun was fired, and the runners, they started running. Charging ahead means going ahead with full speed. The smallest among them, meaning the youngest, he stumbled and staggered, meaning he lost his balance and fell to the asphalt. Asphalt means the material used to create roads and tracks. So he fell to the ground. He gave out a cry in frustration and anguish. His dreams and efforts all dashed in the dirt. But as sure as I am standing here telling this story, the same goes for what next occurred. So, the athlete who fell down, he gave out a cry of frustration and anguish. Anguish means anger. He was frustrated and angry that all his dreams and all his efforts that he had spent training himself, preparing for the event, it was all dashed in the dirt. But as sure as I am standing here telling this story, the same goes for what next occurred. So after what happens next, let's listen to that. After the athlete fell, let's see what happens next. The 8 other runners pulled up on their heels, the ones who had trained for so long to compete. One by one, they all turned around and went back to help him and brought the young boy to his feet. The 8 other runners, they pulled up on their heels, meaning they stopped running. The ones, meaning that they had trained for so long to run in this race, but still they stopped running. One by one, they all turned around and came back to help the athlete who fell down. They helped him get back to his feet. They helped him stand up. Then all the 9 runners joined hands and continued. The 100-yard dash now reduced to a walk, and a banner above that said Special Olympics could not have been more on the mark. The 9 athletes, they joined hands and they started walking. Instead of running, they joined hands and started walking. The 100-yard dash, it was now reduced to a walk. That is, they were not running, but they were walking. A banner said the event's name. It was Special Olympics, and the poet said that it could not have been more appropriate because the unique behavior of the athletes really showed that the Olympics was truly special, and the title was very appropriate. That's how the race ended with 9 gold medals. They came to the finish line holding hands still, and a standing ovation and 9 beaming faces said more than these words ever will. So the race ended, and since all of them held hands and crossed the finish line together, all of them won gold medals. That is, all of them won the first prize. They came to the finish line holding hands still. They got a standing ovation, and they were all very happy. 9 beaming faces said more than these words ever will. This poem, 9 gold medals, it has two important themes. One is celebration of human values. The poem celebrates human values like kindness, cooperation, and empathy. The 9 runners, they were all participating in the Special Olympics to achieve their goal, and to fulfill their dreams, they had all worked hard. They had been continuously practicing for months to run and to win. But the poem brings out the idea that caring and sharing is much more important than winning or losing. Sports is not only about winning medals but also about learning the values of empathy and cooperation. The poem brings out a situation where the contestants set aside their desire to win to help another contestant who had fallen down. When the young athlete had fallen down, all 8 of them, they did not have to stop. They could have continued their running, and they could have won the gold, silver, and bronze medal. But all of them decided that this was wrong, and that more important than the medals was to help their fellow sportsmen. So all of them stopped and decided to help the young athlete. They stood by each other and walked together to the finish line, and all of them got a gold medal. And all of them got a gold medal. By doing so, the authorities who conducted the sports, they honored their display of sportsmanship, empathy, and human values. Second theme we have is the spirit of sportsmanship. Sportsmanship implies that a sport or activity should be enjoyed. That is, it should not be participated for winning or losing, but it should be participated for the sake of enjoying, with consideration for fairness, respect, and a sense of fellowship with one's competitors. Our poet David Roth shows how human values in a sports person are as important as the spirit of competition in the poem. 9 gold medals athletes come from all over the country to make their people proud by winning the gold medal. They had trained for many months for the final event. All of them were ready to run the race when one of them stumbled and fell down. The other, they could have continued running, but they decided to help the young man stand up. Thus, it was a very extraordinary scene that displayed sportsmanship. All of them joined hands and they changed their race to a walk and crossed the finish line together. Thus, it was a brilliant show of the spirit of sportsmanship.